Hello? Hi everyone, can you see me? Is everything okay? How's it going? How do I turn that thing off? Hi everyone. Try one of these live for a bit of a change. Let's see if this all works out. I kind of record it like this anyway, not particularly in this place, but bear with me a sec. Don't worry, we're not starting soon again. You see anything fine? Wait a minute, why is it so dark? Hang on a second, I'll be back in just a second. Is that better though? Seems brighter. Hey Kelly. Hey Steve. Looks and sounds good. Well, I'm okay with that. So, June's finished. July started. We're nearly a week into July. This seems late. It's weekends and stuff, isn't it? Busy times. This is just talking about things that happened in June. You might have missed them. There'll be a nice list in the description. There'll be timestamps if you're watching it back later. If you're watching it live, you got the whole thing. But hey, maybe that's fantastic. There'll be a little bit of fantastic chat you'll miss just skipping through these timestamps. Anyway, so first up, I thought I'd just quickly, in case you didn't see the post that I did, the stuff that'll be coming up this week. So Tuesday, today, I'll be here for a live recap coming up. That's what you're watching right now. Thursday, I am going to be playing Nations after it got mentioned in the Discord. Been really hankering for some Nations because I haven't played it for ages and ages and ages, and it's pretty much my favourite civ building kind of game. Sorry through the ages. Friday, I'm going to be going with the thing that's been working out in recent weeks of if just haven't managed to quite crack something, scheduling it for a live stream means, well, you better practice it and get good in time. David Turczi's Talent Into You. It gets quite good results in the votes, but never manages to make it. So give it a nudge this time, and we'll see it get played. It's a big worker placement thing where we're on this great big hill. Your costs of your actions depend on how far down the hill you're going versus where your priest is on it. You're gathering resources. You're building things. Big complicated game, but also hard, easy to get to grips with, but tough AI to beat if his others are anything to go by. And on Saturday there'll be Lions of Lydia, which is up for patrons now, by the way, which is a game all about the birth of fantasy currency. Yeah, you got bags of meeples, you're placing them out at gates to gain resources, then you're placing them in the middle to gain cards that cost those resources and upgrade those cards, and those cards will give you more resources when you go to the things. It's a beautiful loop with tons of mini expansions, and as you can see on here, because I haven't got the bar, have I? This is a bit different than I usually do. Everything that I do pretty much is thanks to the Patreon, patreon.com/slickerdrips. If you would like to help out, help me keep making things, help me make more things. Maybe we'll be doing this all of the time. This is kind of, well, it's more than part-time. It's not all of the time though. So yes, and the thing that's the maybe the biggest thing on Patreon is the playthrough vote. What I choose for the film playthrough, certainly, and a load of the live ones, is based on not just suggestions and when I see games mentioned, but a vote every month on what is going to get played through. So that is going to be coming on pretty much after this. I was going to have it all scheduled and ready to go straight up, but yeah, the stream wasn't working for the for the 15 minutes that I would normally be getting ready and having it on the starting soon screen. Yeah, it said the stream wasn't going to stream, but luckily it's all here now. So yes, there will be a vote going up shortly after this stream. Quick drink and stop talking. Hi, Julian. Thanks for joining us. Julian Pombo, his game will be... Oh no, it'll count as July actually, won't it? It won't be in the recap just yet, but check out Mercado de Lisboa. The playthrough for that just went up this weekend. So that's just this week's stuff. The kind of part one of the video is the recap of the things that happened in June that seem so far away. but we're only like a month ago. So the return of Q&As happened in June, which is very busy at the moment. Couldn't do one at the beginning of this month as well, but yeah, if you missed it, you can check out a nice little chat that we had with everyone, and there will be another one coming up in the next couple of weeks, I think, for playthroughs mainly. There was Paladins of the West Kingdom, a solo playthrough. The West Kingdom series won votes for a co-op trilogy and a solo trilogy, and I've been working my way through those. So there's a solo playthrough of Paladins of the West Kingdom, probably my favourite of the West Kingdom games now. It's kind of Oleon style. You're not bag building or anything, but you've got all of these coloured workers that need to go in particular spots, and you're placing them on your playboard to activate actions, putting buildings down to make those buildings easier to activate, getting either really strong and recruiting people that way, or getting very pious and converting people in that way. It's a beautiful, beautiful game. Then there was Hadrian's Wall, which kind of a return. I think that would have been in Maze as well. That, as well as doing a live playthrough, I did another one where I went in kind of a wildly different direction and kind of tested what if I edited down the live playthroughs, how much shorter would they be? Will people prefer that? I noticed that they do get shorter, and you know it's nice and snappy when you edit out the live portion of it, but also, yeah, it didn't seem to make much of a difference, which is why I haven't really done it since. But yes, the main thing is Hadrian's Wall. Fantastic kind of great big hour-long roll and write game. Well, flip and fill game. It's cards rather than dice. But yeah, one of my favourites after, well, I say only a few plays. I've played it quite a bit now, and it's absolutely fantastic. We might be talking about that in the coming up. Maybe that'll be an option. It will be an option. There's more things come out for it. Hashi is a game from Jeffrey D. Allers, another flip and fill game, which is based on logic puzzles of the same name, where you have all of these islands to join up. You can, every card that will be drawn from this deck, you know, everybody has the same card. It will have a number in on it and a number of bridges drawn on it as well. So you can do one part or the other or both, and you are filling in numbers in these islands and putting bridges down. You have to put a bridge down in an island with at least one of the connections has to have a number in it. You can't write the numbers in the islands with flags on until there is a bridge leading to them, so there's some restriction in that way. You can't crisscross the bridges, so once you have put one down in there, you've limited yourself where you can go from there. You are trying to race to fill in all of the islands with flags of the two different colours. You are trying to connect a nice area of loads of islands, but mainly get these islands completed by having a number in them and then a number of bridges equal to that number, and then that island's finished and you can't put any more in. It's a really, really great game and introduced me to these logic puzzles, which I think have been really, really fun. Next up, there was Imperium Classics, which kind of turned into a bit of a series. A deck building game, but with a kind of a load of twists from Nigel Buckle and David Turczi, where you play as different civilizations. There are two boxes, Classics and Legends, and each comes with 8 civilizations that you can play as. The solo version of the game comes with tables for when there are a few little setup rules for the bot, and whenever they draw a card, you go through this table, the first symbol that matches, you do that thing. And the tables, not that I've played multiplayer enough to verify this, but the bots have all been designed so that their solo behavior, the choices they make, reflect what a person playing that civilization would be doing. So yeah, it works really, really well. It's, you know, a big complex game, but yeah, I think the complication is all you deciding what you want to do, trying to forge some kind of strategy. The actual upkeep and stuff of the solo bot is fairly minimal, really. You're just flipping cards, and you get to memorize those charts fairly quickly as you are playing against a faction. We'll see more from Imperium later on. Next, Super Skill Pinball. I don't want to put make it seem like I'm diminishing any of the other games. I love Super Skill Pinball so much. It's a roll and write game, which I'm kind of predisposed to like anyway. And I love the theming of it. I love how kind of how Jeff Engelstein, the designer, managed to get a roll and write game to feel anything like Pinball. Never mind. Oh wow, this kind of captures some of that buzz from playing Pinball. I played through. That was a live one. I did 2 tables that night. So the one you can see in the picture is Carnival, the most simple of the tables. And then, since that was done fairly quickly, carried on and learnt and then played the Dragon Slayer table, which I think, people were telling me in chat at the time, and I think I agree after playing them all now. It's the best one. It's my favourite of the tables. You learn spells and cast spells to change the dice so you can get the ball where you really need it. But all of the tables are fantastic. I would happily play any of them, and there is an expansion, as kind of a standalone expansion on its way. And I saw, I think yesterday, a post that said that there is a print and play available of one of those brand new tables. Maybe that should be a live thing. When I saw that, I was tempted to just scrap the schedule and let's just have another Super Skill Pinball. Let's wait on that a sec. Hi, Genway. How's it going? Talented Sue Solo. I am excited and scared, but it'll all work out. I will be a Talented Sue master by Friday, I'm sure. But yes, Super Skill Pinball, I would love for it to come back and do another stream. Maybe with this new things, maybe with more tables from the base box. It works so well. Next we had Nusfjord, another one that I think, I'd seen someone play in the Discord, and then I've been reminded of all these things because when I actually look into it, it's been ages since I played this. Not too long for Nusfjord. I think it had only been a year, which, it sounds like a lot, but see some of the delays on some of these other games. So fishing, building, cutting down forests, feeding elders from Uwe Rosenberg. It's one of his smaller box in that it's not a great big Feast for Odin massive treasure chest, but and fast to play as well. It's about an hour, kind of, if that. Where the combinations of buildings that come out are really going to influence your path throughout the game. Some getting you instant bonuses, some giving you points for certain things, some letting you convert some resources into others, and then you pick up elders that will give you bonus actions because you will block off the action board very easily. It's got a great solo mode that its standard one works a bit like Feast for Odin, where you have 2 different colours of workers. Round 1 you'll use the reds, then they stay there, and round 2 you use the yellows, and you've got to use actions you didn't use before. The live playthrough, I did the advanced solo variant that I don't think I've played before, where you have 3 player colours, so you are you're not going to get to use that action again, and something you did in round 1. There are a couple of copy spaces, but you're not going to get to use those particular spaces again until round 4. So even more restricting, but works beautifully. I want to try and get my hands on the last expansion that I missed out on. So mainly because I would like to have it, but also an excuse to just play Nusfjord again on stream. Architects of the West Kingdom. So this was a recorded playthrough of the co-op. You see all these extra boxes in the thumbnail. There's so much in there. It's Architects of the West Kingdom and its expansion, Age of Artisans, that added more cards of various types. A way of improving workers or buildings, getting extra one-off things, getting extra benefits when those workers activate. And to top it all off, the Tome Saga expansion, which you could either play as playing all the West Kingdom games as a great big competitive campaign, or it adds cooperative modes to all of the West Kingdom games as well. That's what this is. It's the cooperative version where we are playing against the Overlord. You can trade some resources. He's going to be going around arresting all of your workers quite incessantly, as you might expect, so you've got to work around that. It works very, very well, and it's the start of the co-op playthrough trilogy on the channel. Next up, Sleeping Gods. Huge campaign game. Absolutely loved our campaign. And this is embarking on a brand new campaign where, there's spoilers in terms of the story, although I would really say it's, are you going to remember all of this stuff? I didn't remember the stuff that I repeated from our original playthrough in this, but that's up to you. It's, you are given kind of minimal information. You need to find these things and wake up the gods and find out why you're in this mysterious place. And just go and explore. You're given a couple of vague quests with go in this kind of area to do this quest, and just travel the seas, pick up more quests, try and solve them, just amble about and try and have a great time. So this was the start of that campaign. I've since, one's in July technically, I've since done 2 more live streams carrying on that campaign. And yeah, as far as you know for June, oh, it's going so well. But yeah, really enjoy Sleeping Gods. Next up, Empires of the North. Are these thumbnails different sizes, or if I just made this border wrong? Empires of the North, lovely tableau building game, kind of spin-off of Imperial Settlers. I got sent another pack of factions and thought it was high time it finally got a solo playthrough. So I played one of the brand new ones here, and yeah, I played through one of the standard solo scenarios that's built in, because I learned through the chat in the playthrough that it's about to get, I think later this year, is it? It's about to get a great big solo expansion where you're playing through a kind of legacy campaign style thing. Can't wait for that, because Empires of the North is amazing. Destinies. See, I couldn't find a shot that didn't have like my hand or something in it. There we go. A solo playthrough of Destinies, which is an app-based storytelling game from Lucky Duck Games. So you might notice some similarities in QR codes and things from Chronicles of Crime. Well, it's a very different game from Chronicles of Crime. It's a competitive game where you're given a character, you're given a backstory to the scenario, and you are given one of 2 destinies you pick from the back of your character, and go around, explore, talk to people, do actions, and try and figure out how to achieve your destiny. You can ask characters about your destinies. If you're playing it competitively, when other people go and have their story things, they read out what the app is saying, so you can maybe get some information from there. You can maybe get in on things they've been trying to do and failed, because there's a skill check system with dice, but I think it's a really good skill check system. You are still at the mercy of dice. You do get to add extra dice. You gain an extra one of these effort dice every turn, and you can save them up until you really think you need them for an action, because you've got to kind of work out the difficulty of the check that you're making. But on your player boards, you've got these kind of pegs for each attribute, and they determine, you roll the dice, work out your total, and then look at how many pegs you have gone past on your player board, and that's how many successes you've got. The way experience works and leveling up is you get to move those pegs to the left, so it gets easier to either just get one success at all, or you'll make it easier to get a bunch of successes, and maybe you'll get to add more pegs to that later. Yeah, or I kind of went in a little bit kind of wary of it, because our competitive playthrough of it had not gone well at all. We did not enjoy the competitive element of it, but that's kind of been a lot of the same with competitive legacy games as well. Destinies isn't legacy, although it's you can replay. Stories will be similar, but you can play different characters and have different destinies and all that stuff, and make different choices. You're not going to see all of the map. But yeah, solo, I think it was a great time. It was, I just remember it being a laugh, going through this story, thinking that I was an evil character and trying to make evil choices based on that. Check it out. I worked out how to get the app on screen as well, which I'm pleased about. Everything goes wrong trying to set up new things. Next, Arkosa, which is, it's still on Kickstarter, right? I'm going to check this out. Arkosa is a game all about the planet Arkosa. We have this little deck of colonists that we draft at the start of the game. You can see on the board there. I should be pointed in the opposite direction, shouldn't I? So, or I should mirror the camera. But then all the games would be back to front behind me. Ignore that. Yeah, you can see the planet of Arkosa in there. You can play your workers for their abilities, and they will be getting different resources. There are quite funky workers in there that can travel back in time, but you risk losing them. There's someone that can, do double powered actions, but then you roll a die after they've gone, and there's a chance they might explode, and you can't use them again, and you lose the points that you once had from them. It's got a lovely kind of style, like just a kind of silly, wacky style, but is this really interesting kind of, it's not tableau building, it's kind of deck building exploration element. There are a load of events in there that work in a quite interesting way, that there's this track around the outside of the board, and there is a distance away of the location that you've gone to, and you need to move the exploration marker that number of spaces. You might get a reward, you might get nothing, you might get an event card, and depending on there is a risk, you can see the risk of the event card you will be getting, and so you can kind of see, do I want to take that action now, or do I want to take an action that will move me fewer steps, or this particular number of steps, to get this benefit instead? Or do I just want to kind of do something else now and hope that somebody else does the big action that triggers the bad thing, so I can just waltz in next time and have an easy life? Yeah, there's a full playthrough of me doing a 2-player game against Little Glass Marty, and it's still on Kickstarter now, and yeah, they would love your support, I am sure. So yes, Arkosa. Roguebook is a new, so cardboard purists were into the realm of digital. For Roguebook, this is a video game, basically, but a video game of a roguelike deck builder. So think Slay the Spire or Monster Train, or there are many now. There's a Tainted Grail one that I've been recommended. Roguebook is designed by Richard Garfield of Magic fame, and yeah, I have had a spell of being quite addicted to it. You play in kind of the big twists are that you play with a pair rather than a particular character. There are 4 characters in the game, and you will pair up 2 of them for your particular playthrough. They all have their unique things. So like the character with the sword there is really powerful when she's at the front. There's a positional element to it, and if the tank is in the front, then he gets some extra shielding, and there's one that can heal back to full at any point during a particular battle. There's one that kind of builds up rage as he takes damage, and then once his rage meter's full, all of his cards turn into ultra special ones for a kind of one-off that you play when he's at full rage. So yeah, there's the team up element of the characters, but also there's this great big hex map. And rather than having a path that you can see, okay, if I go down this one, I'm going to have to do this, 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 and this, there's a bit more of the unknown to it, that you are using these paintbrushes to reveal kind of surrounding areas to where your characters are, and you can activate these lighthouses that reveal great big areas, but you are trying to find more fights so you can find more ink and reveal more things. You are trying to find gems. You can equip the cards with gems. That's another cool thing. So adding text to cards. And you can find treasures as well, which give you permanent abilities for the rest of the playthrough. If you are into that kind of thing, really, really recommend Roguebook. It's great. But yeah, I played through a whole run of it in that playthrough. Next up, oh, there we are. Next up was playthrough 500, I believe. This definitely is playthrough 500. I don't think I've missed one. So for something special, I recruited my sister Josie, that's who that is in the playthrough, in the thumbnail there, to play Friends, the one with the apartment bet game, which basically is Friends trivia. It's got some theming and some styling for the episode where they had the big quiz and lost the apartment and all of that. Spoilers. But yeah, it's essentially Friends trivia. So yeah, your enjoyment of it may very well depend on how into Friends you are. But yeah, you can watch us compete and see who knows the most at that. It's just a bit of a laugh for number 500. Then 501, there we are. David Turczi, co-designer of Imperium Classics, joined me for a 2-player playthrough, which pretty much, yeah, it's a rare occurrence. A guest on the channel, and let alone one of the designers of the game. And he kind of, to convince me, to show me kind of aspects of the game that there's attacking in the game. I'm a massive Care Bear and don't really fancy doing that in games that I play. And so David had actually, he picked all of these things. I was kind of thinking he's curated something that's going to be palatable to me. He'd actually picked one of the most aggressive factions in the game, to kind of show off. His aim was to show off that even with loads of these attacks, it doesn't really hold you back or affect you that much, and you can just change your playstyle to cope with it. Yeah, which is definitely fair. It's still not something that I think Rach and I would do, and then it's us rather than the games. I always try and make that clear that it's the fact that neither of us will attack the other, and we both know that, and so games that have a confrontational element, often when that is entirely removed, or both players know that that is never a factor, it can really make important parts of the game fall over because we're not doing it right. It's on us rather than the game. But hey, you can see how well I got on against one of the designers of the game, where we had both gone into this game believing that the other one would win. So you can see how it went there. Yeah, and Imperium, I've been really, really enjoying it, and there may be some more on the way. We'll see. Hey, Truck Driving Gamer, how's it going? We are most of the way through June, I think. Where's my button? Next up, Your Town. So a bit of a different thing. This is a graphic novel adventure from Van Ryder Games, who make Hostage Negotiator, Detective City of Angels. They've got a new series on Kickstarter right now, but it's not Your Town. This is one of their oldest ones that I got sent a copy of, where basically you stroll into a town in the Wild Wild West and decide you're going to be the mayor. And so you're making choices of buildings to build, areas to discover, people to see, places to go, all of that stuff. And you can see, I bet you'll never be able to guess how this session ends. But you can see a kind of collaborative effort. It was everyone in the chat helping me along to decide some of the major decisions of our particular town. But yeah, maybe there'll be more kind of stuff like, I don't know if maybe there'll be more Your Town, but there will be some more fighting fantasy kind of stuff on the way as well. Because I know I haven't really done that since Christmas, which now is a long, long way away. Yeah, there'll be some coming up, I'm sure. And there's another graphic novel adventure. Sorry, villagers, hang on a sec. There's another graphic novel adventure from a later series where you run a theme park instead. I would really, really love to get my hands on that. So, pause, breathe. Villagers, shifting seasons. You can see from a couple of years ago, I went on and on and on about how good Villagers was. Luckily, people agreed. It did really well on Kickstarter and when it came out and stuff. It's back. It got an expansion. Here's my little prototype review copy still on my desk, which adds a load of little modules to the game. So it adds a different solo mode. The Countess solo mode in the main game was a bit brutal. So if you want a bit more of a relaxing time, there is a monastery solo mode in there. There's teams, which are cards that everyone has access to, that will either improve your food or your building, but you have to give up 2 cards to get those when you are building. There is a whole new deck, the clay deck, that can just be added at higher player counts, or you can remove the grapes deck from the base game and add that in at 2 players. There are a load of new special workers as well, and there are events too. You see above all of the rounds, all of the stacks, 2 of them trigger market phases the same way they did in original Villagers, but now every deck that hasn't got a market phase under it has an event under it that's going to be an opportunity or something that is going to happen, something that's going to be triggered by that deck running out. And you can see them all at the beginning of the game, so you know what's going to be coming and what you need to be prepared for. Just all-round fantastic stuff. If you love Villagers like I did, then yeah, I can see this being just must include in future games when the final thing comes out. But yeah, it's still on. I am pretty sure still on Kickstarter. I should have a. Well, I didn't know I was gonna check them on Kickstarter. Shifting Seasons. I'm pretty sure it is still on Kickstarter right now, and yeah, it's going £161,000 of a £25,000 goal. Wow. A lot of Villagers fans out there, which is lovely to see. I was there from the beginning, guys. Villagers Shifting Seasons. There's a whole playthrough for it, a whole brand new 2-player playthrough of the game with all the new things turned on. Apart from the Monastery solo mode, because that's a solo video. That's a solo thing. Maybe there'll be a solo video. I should do the Countess solo mode at some point. There'll be more villagers one day, I hope. Then, and I think this is the last thing, the 29th, that was last Tuesday, wasn't it? I joined Paul Grogan from Gaming Rules at last for a session of Digital Gloomhaven, which, you know, Gloomhaven is my favourite board game, and I'd kind of seen the digital adaptation had come out and done really well, and thought, yes, I'll get around to that at some point. And finally, yeah, Paul's invitation nudged me into finally getting it. I've had this live session. I had a big session playing multiplayer with Rach as well. It's such a fantastic adaptation of the game, and as well as, you know, all of the gameplay and the classes and stuff are transferred over now. It's got battle goals in the new thing, 'cause it's still in early access, so it's not a final release. They've been adding tons and tons to it since it came out. But this Guildmaster mode, which is kind of a unique campaign to the digital Gloomhaven, where you are traveling the world and unlocking new characters, and it's a way of unlocking perks and things for the characters doing particular missions. I think it's just based on a couple of sessions, it's a fantastic game mode, a really, really great way of getting into it and unlocking all of the things. And I think it's going to get, I think Paul was saying it's going to get the normal campaign mode as well in a later update. But I think this Guildmaster mode, absolutely fantastic. I would happily just play it through with that rather than the main campaign. But that's partly because I've played the main campaign. Some early parts of it, many times. So Gloomhaven Digital, there's a whole playthrough for that as well. And I think that, there we go, there's the start of June again. That is June. So, leave things off the screen for a little bit so I can get the timestamp properly when I've done this. That's my job when this is finished. So those are all of the playthroughs and things that happened in the month of June. It seems like a lot, right? And yeah, there will be a load more coming along in July. As like I showed you at the beginning of the video, all these things are coming just this week. And there are more weeks in July, I can tell you that for sure. So, next up is the coming up things that might be happening in July, which is a bit, you know, some things are on the way that I don't know when they will be getting here. There will be Kickstarters as well. I know that Beyond the Rift, the Petition's Mouth card game, will be coming up very soon. I'll have a playthrough for that. Lands of Galzir, the kind of great big open world storytelling game from, you know, set in the world of Dale of Merchants and Dawn of Peacemakers. You can see Dawn of Peacemakers on the shelf there, kind of behind Mulligan and O'Hare. Can't wait to have more stuff set in that world. I absolutely love both of those games, very different though the games are. I love the anthropomorphic world they are set in, and I love storytelling games and the fact that they're kind of linked to an app as well. I do love the big storybook thing, but I love that it can, you know, be updated and tweaked and stuff, and we can just look things up really quickly on an iPad. There will be a playthrough of that coming up as well. That is on GameFound, I believe. But yes, that may be in August, but they are definitely coming up. And a few things that may arrive, but things that have definitely arrived or are about to definitely arrive. I think there's been of many kind of sparkly brand new things, but we can go back and relive things, right? So I think this won't get in the way too much. Here we go. Here is what is going to be on the vote on Patreon now. So it's going to be running. It runs pretty much to the end of the month. I don't just film the thing that wins the playthrough vote. I use the whole thing as a guide of what to do. If you would like to see stuff on the channel, if there's something brand new that's come out that I haven't mentioned and that I have overlooked, yeah, that can totally happen. Just let me know and I will give it a go, because a load of these and loads of stuff recently as Maracaibo and stuff, it's all from suggestions and people saying what they would like to see. So first up, Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria, which is a playthrough that I did for its Kickstarter campaign pretty much a year ago. I really like these little happenstances that occur. I think tomorrow it's like a year since the video went up. Anyway, this is a dice drafting game from Stan Kordunsky, who is one of the designers of Dice Hospital, amongst other things. But we are the baddies, basically. We're the baddies in the Valeria world now. And we've had enough of these heroes and things getting on their merry way. It's time for the bad guys to step up, and we're going to see who the baddest guy is to take on all of these goodies. And there are different kind of portions of the game board that will get you gems, that will let you recruit more people to your cause. There are a load of symbols on the dice that will either make particular things cheap. Worse numbers will probably have a better discount for the thing you want to buy. But you want higher totals of numbers to perform certain actions. It's a really, really solid dice placement game. But the big difference is, rather than just being, oh, I'll play this thing again, it didn't have a solo mode when I did the Kickstarter playthrough. So would you like to see Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria come back in its solo form? Can you see the tabs? You can't see the tabs. So you can't see all of the names of these things yet. Number 2. Oh, that's not as smooth as I would have liked. I had to reload the page. Number 2 is Awkward Guests. Not a new game historically. It came out in 2016, apparently. I hadn't really seen it. I've probably seen it and dismissed it as being a game that needed a load of players. For whatever reason, yeah, I wasn't really aware of it until Georgina in the Discord talked about playing it. This is basically a Cluedo-style deduction game, but just with this special card system. We're not roaming around a board or anything like that. Basically, someone has been murdered, and through this certain configuration of cards, there's like 240 cards in the game, and you can either use solutions in the book, or you can use an app to tell you which cards to get. I think you get 70 cards. You get dealt a hand of them, which give you some solid information. And then we have these phases of when it's your turn to inquire, you have to ask about 2 things, and those things can either be a location in the mansion or a suspect in the mansion. And then anyone with cards matching those things can choose to offer them to you. You don't know what you're getting, you just know how their information value. And then you have to trade cards from your hand with the same value. And in that way, you are sharing information with the other players, which early on, you want all the information that you can get. And then later on, you have to kind of be tactical in, what am I going to hold back on now? How can I make it still look like I'm giving people information? Because if you never give anyone anything, they're going to start trading with you. But yeah, how can I give them information, but not too much? How can I keep giving myself an edge to try and solve this first? The advantage of playing this with an app is, in the actual book of the game, it's full of loads and loads of different setups. There's still plenty to be getting on with it, although the app can generate infinitely more, I think. But yeah, you can play it with the book, but when somebody decides that they want to solve the mystery, Cluedo style, they look, they see what the solution is. If they're wrong, they're out because they know the answer now. In the app, you can press solve and tell the app what you think, and if you're wrong, the app will just say, you're wrong, and you can carry on playing because you don't know what's wrong, you don't know what the actual answer is, so you've got no advantage over that. You have to sit out the next solution phase, so you can't just keep kind of scattergunning and hoping that you stumble on the right answer. Yeah, it's the app resistant to digital things. Perhaps you might be. It's got a huge advantage in that sense, but also the app allows you to play this solo. So I was thinking, if you're keen on some deduction, we could get together some kind of collaborative, I think it would make a cool solo playthrough. I think it would make a great live stream as well. You get points and you spend the points to get more cards. But yes, I think that would make a really great live stream, trying to solve some murders solo essentially, but you can play solo games cooperatively in some awkward guests. Hi James, you missed June. You missed the entire recap of June. Don't worry, you can see it later if you want. And you probably saw what happened in June. But yeah, it'll be all available to replay later with timestamps and stuff. Oh, I should probably say, is my robot working? I think my YouTube robot's working. All of this is made possible thanks to Patreon. Patreon.com/slickerdrips if you'd like to help out. Vote on videos. This is what I'm doing right now. There's a vote about to happen when I finish this video and post it on Patreon. But yes, you keep the channel going and let me do more stuff. And like the channel and the video and comment and all of those YouTubey things that I should say and keep forgetting. But yes, big murder mystery, solo-based app Let's solve one together. Do you want to see some awkward guests? Next up, I was going to load all of these things. Rogers of the Ganges, which I covered a couple of years ago, I think, when it came out in Essen from Inca and Marcus Brand, has basically a roll and write version. You know I'm there for a roll and write. It's based on a pretty solid game from very, very solid designers. Couldn't think of a word other than solid. And I haven't played this yet. I've picked it up based on that because I was by an awkward guest. I thought let's see what else that I should have picked up on. But look at these dice. They look beautiful. Would you like to see some dice-based Rogers of the Ganges and see what's new? See where it stands in the pantheon of roll and write games. Next up, oh, I keep thinking that you can see like the first few letters of these things. I've cut the tabs off though, haven't I? Next up, Imperium Legends. So, this is more a thing of, you've seen Imperium on the channel a couple of times now. You've seen it with Classics. This is basically the same game, but you can buy either standalone box. This has got 8 completely different factions in it. The factions in Legends are a bit more complex. So Classics is the better one to start off with, but the Imperium ones can, the Legends ones, I'm told can go a bit wild and crazy. I would really like to play the Utopians, who are apparently by far the most difficult, but have the strangest ways about them. But it comes with completely new factions to play against, and also completely new cards in the commons as well. The ones that will be out every game, and you can, if you have both sets, you play with one common set or the other, but you can mix and match those as well. So would you like to see some more Imperium? And if you would, it would be one of these really difficult factions. Would you like to see me lose solo with a really difficult new faction in Imperium? Next up, we have a lighter game, certainly, but from Rudiger Dawn, who did Goa, he did Karuba, he did Istanbul, he did loads of games that I'm surely forgetting. This is I can't think of a better term for it than a Magikoro style game. Where you are building up a farm shop is the theme of it. You start off with... It's a game where, it's really simple, or you can play with some expansions to make it a little bit heavier. It's still on the lighter side. You start off with these farms. Everyone starts off with the same ones. Maybe you'll play with an expansion that makes them a little bit different. But you roll 3 dice on your turn. One of those dice you are going to use to grab a new card from the display here, and that's going to go, the number determines which one you're picking up, but you can put it anywhere on your farm. The other 2 numbers are added up, and that number is going to activate on everybody's boards, so they are going to get to gain resources or spend resources to get coins, which are points, and gain sunflowers, which can be placed on cards to make them activate extra times. And so there are burlap bags as well that you can use to change dice results, whether it's grabbing from the market or the one to activate. So you've got some choice of it in that way. But the whole kind of rolling these 3 dice and deciding what the result is going to be is the kind of major new thing in the kind of Machikoro Valeria Card Kingdoms style of game, which needs a snappier name, really. Would you like to see some farming? Next up, another return. But a return with another thing that's brand new to it. Hadrian's Wall. Fantastic, fantastic game. Talked about that in July's video. Would always like to just keep playing it because it's absolutely fantastic. And there's still things that I haven't really done in those 2 playthroughs. But also, a few weeks ago, Garfield Games and designer Bobby Hill came out with... This is going to load. A spinning black screen they came out with. If a PDF will ever load, they came out with a solo campaign for Hadrian's Wall, where you are playing... There we go. Where you are playing a consecutive series of games with a bit of flavour to it, but also new rules that affect the game, certain goals that you want to work towards, and an extra challenge if you meet that challenge, you can start the next game with a little extra reward. And your goal is to work your way through all of these games. Would you like to see some more Hadrian's Wall? I don't know if we're going to get through 16 games of it, but would you like to see what the start of a campaign of Hadrian's Wall looks like? Because, yeah, I'm going to be doing that whether it's on stream or not at some point. So, Hadrian's Wall. Next up, classics. Shipyard. I think this is because John Gets Games has done a great, huge deep dive into the world of rondels. And one of those games that he played for the first time on his travels is Vladimir Suchi's Shipyard. So Vladimir, in more recent years, has designed things like Pulsar 2849, Underwater Cities, Praga Caput Regni. Both those last two were my favourite games of the year that they came out. Yes, Vladimir is one of my favourite designers. But I think as much as I love all of those games, Shipyard is still my favourite of his games. It's an absolutely fantastic game. If you are into rondels, it's got rondels on top of rondels on top of rondels. Look at this for a main board. And if you like tons and tons of little cardboard pieces, it's got thousands of them. Look at all these little smokestacks and captains and generals and stuff. You're building ship parts. You're getting things to go on those ships. You are getting canals and bodies of water, oxbow lakes and stuff to go and sail your ship out on, and the ships that do best score the most points. Absolutely fantastic game. I have covered this in its multiplayer form before, but now this isn't a brand new thing, but I didn't notice it last time. Larry Schneider has come up with a solo bot, which isn't showing itself in the file section here. Here it is. Oh, I can't show you because I'm not signed in on this browser. But yes, a competitive solo Automa that just needs to print out a deck of cards. Yeah, we'll be able to play Shipyard solo, which I'm pretty keen on. Would you like to see some more Shipyard? Maybe you haven't even seen the original playthrough and it'll be brand new to you. Just look at it. I know it's maybe not the most exciting looking of games or the most exciting themed of games, but I assure you, it's so good. It's, as I say, I think still my favourite Vladimir Suchi games. One of my favourite games overall, I think. Would you like to see it come back and be played solo? Hey, like inside of the solo campaign? Good, good. I am excited about just playing more Hadrian's Wall, really. Whether it had a solo campaign or not. I was kind of at the point where, well, I can't put it up a third time, can I? There's a solo campaign out. Okay, well, it can go back in the votes now. Hi, Michael. It looks like a Feld game. I think, yeah, it is. It's 2009 as well. So it is maybe in that... I think games tended to look more like this in 2009. There was still, Agricola and stuff by then, and Clemens Franz and all of that. But yeah, it's let's build some more successful Titanics. Hey, Phase Shift Games. Phase Shift Games, everyone. I'm gonna look like a complete fool now if I've remembered the name wrong, but no, I haven't. Of Dungeon Drop. And check out my many playthroughs for Dungeon Drop and its expansion. Thanks for joining us. Yes, I haven't watched it all, but the John Gets Games' Rondell video was the portion I've seen so far has been fantastic. I made sure that I watched the Shipyard portion. That's my #1 thing. Next up, Sleeping Gods. This is more a thing of, not would you like to see Sleeping Gods, because I've done a few videos for it now. So, spoilers if you haven't seen that part yet. Part 3 kind of ended in tragedy, in repeated tragedy. It's kind of thinking, well, maybe that's that. But this is a gauge of interest in, would you like to see that Sleeping Gods campaign continue? Maybe I'll stick it on easy mode or something so that I might be able to actually do something in the last portion of the campaign. But yeah, see it through to the end and see what happens at the end of a campaign and stuff. Would you like to see that? Because again, I'm probably going to be doing that. Would you like me to be doing it on camera? So yeah, Sleeping Gods. Next is another request that James, was it you that requested this? I should write down who requests them as well as the request itself to properly credit people. But yes, Mystic Vale, fantastic game, which my chair is in the way of. The card building game from it's like 2016 now, where it's a deck building game, but you actually buy little elements to your cards. These clear advancements that slide into your card sleeves and improve the cards themselves as they are drawn. So it has got a ton of expansions at this point. Now, I did a video when it very, very first came out, and I think one of the reasons that we got rid of it at the time is that we enjoyed it. We played a load of it. We got the first expansion, played a load of that, and then kind of thought, I think we've seen we've seen what we needed to see here, and moved it on. And then last year, I think it was part of when I hurt my shoulder and stuff, which is coming up to a year ago, I think, and started playing loads of the digital version of Mystic Vale, and then thought, well, I need to get back into this now. I'm really and the actual physical version has got way more expansions to it at this point. So I grabbed a load of it. I have this Mystic Vale Nemesis expansion, and I've never played it because it adds a whole new way of playing solo, where you are trying to. You're still trying to build up advancements and improve your deck and stuff. It was you, James. Thank you. Well, here is your recommendation coming to fruition now, where you are trying to take down these nemesis, your great big nemesis, in a specific solo mode. So yeah, it would be. Would you like to see the new solo mode for Mystic Vale? I say new. It came out last year, but yeah, it's going to be brand new to some of us, certainly to me. And then on that point, where is it? On that point, I've put this in votes before. I don't think it got very far, but I still haven't played Edge of Darkness solo. Would you like to see some Edge of Darkness? I still don't know what it's like. Edge of Darkness is the great big Gloomhaven-sized box, big brother of Mystic Vale, from designer John D. Clare again, where you've still got the card crafting, but the cards kind of go into a communal deck as well, and there is a great big... I'm clicking the wrong screen. There is a great big cube tower in it. Not exactly the same, but, Amerigo kind of thing, where people's cubes go in there, and depending on where they come out, it's determine which threats you might be at risk from. We played it competitively a couple of times. I remember Rach didn't really enjoy it that much. I really enjoyed it and thought, I will play this solo. It's been a while now. Would you like to see how it goes, though? You have Ascension and Mystic Vale on your phones. You play those loads of times. I played Mystic Vale incessantly for I don't know how long for, but yeah, there was a there was a big chunk of time last year when, fair enough, I wasn't really playing physical board games very much because I couldn't lean over and stuff as much. But yeah, really enjoyed Mystic Vale. I think it's got like 2 expansions in the. It's got 2 expansions in the Steam version. That's what I was playing it on. Maybe it's got more now. I should check it out again. Hi, Christos. Play it solo? Do you mean Edge of Darkness? Is it good solo? Yeah, I would like to. Would voters like to see some Edge of Darkness solo? Kind of bigger, heavier, longer. Mystic Vale. Well, it's got the essence of Mystic Vale, hasn't it? It's its own game. But yeah, uses a key part of Mystic Vale. And then finally, in the vote for July's playthroughs is Hostage Negotiator Korea, which is another thing it's been mentioned, but yeah, as all of these things are, a gauge of how interested you'd be. And as I said at the start of this, let me know if there's something you would like to see, because there's a very good chance that I would like to give it a go. So Hostage Negotiator is a solo-only game that I've had for a while now, where you are playing a hostage negotiator. It's not a deck building game. You are buying cards and playing these cards to give you conversation points to try and release hostages and stuff. Each enemy in it is plays in a completely different way, and as they go through, get very, very complex. They've had loads and loads of guest designers designing expansions at this point, and it's so the original game has had loads of abductor packs Oh, it doesn't just say the designers on here now. One of the packs is designed by Ultima Factory, who do all of the amazing solo modes for Stonemaier games, and also did the solo version for Gaia Project. I'm sorry, I can't think of any of the other designers right now. But yeah, there's all of these packs. There was a Crime Wave standalone expansion that came with a load of extra content. But the kind of the bow on top of all of this stuff of Hostage Negotiator was the career expansion, where you can kind of just, you are playing a whole career through all of these different elements and different expansions that have been added to it, as well as a load of extra story stuff, a load of extra choices to make that will guide you through all of these games and have a kind of narrative thread going all through it all. So I think there's probably promos and things that I haven't got, but in terms of those abductor packs and stuff, I think I've got everything. So this could be the start of a great big career of Hostage Negotiator. I'll say that I have always had, I think I bought the original game when it came out in England, so it probably wasn't whenever Hostage Negotiator came out. It probably was a year or so after that it finally came to game shops, back when we had a local game shop. But yeah, I played it and enjoyed it, and used to get kind of frustrated though that I started to feel like too much of it was on the roll of dice. I think someone commented on my top 10 solo videos as well that it's a luck fest and all of that. And dice are always involved, yes, so there's always going to be the element of luck in it. But when I started playing, when I got the career expansion, I haven't played all the way through a career. I'm kind of thinking another thing of, if you'd like to see it in some videos or a stream, that will egg me on and give me the extra reason to, the extra time to get through a full career of it. But I started seeing, that you don't need to just be playing all of your cards and just rolling dice and hoping. You can be discarding cards to try and get points to get better cards. You can be tipping the scales in your favor in several different ways, and it's all about weighing up your different options. You're still going to be rolling dice in the end, but you can tip the scales in your favor quite significantly, I think. So would you like to see some Hostage Negotiator career? I think it's full of secrets and surprises and stuff that would be fun to discover, I think. So that is going to be, I would say, not long from now. That is going to be up on Patreon. Everyone at the voter tier or more will get to have a say on what the playthroughs will be this month. And yeah, I'm really interested to see what you would like to see, because as always, I'd be pretty happy with making videos for any of these things. And it's not just the thing that gets the most votes that gets filmed anymore. It's all done of it's all a gauge of interest to see what I should be prioritizing first. Hi Constantinus. Dead Reckoning seems familiar. I've forgotten all about it. That's the competitive I can bring the browser back. That's the competitive pirate themed Mystic Vale-esque game from John D. Clare as well, with beautiful Ian O'Toole art. But yeah, card crafting on the high seas. I think I passed on the Kickstarter because I thought that us being pretty extreme on the Care Bear scale probably wouldn't be for us. But it's always one of those that I've got my eye on, and maybe, I think, wasn't there talk of it's got solo on there, so maybe it'd be a good solo game. And I think there was talk of maybe putting some co-op on there or something. I don't know though. Yeah, maybe that'll be coming up at some point. I'm always keen to look at these things. I got, partly because it was so cheap, but I grabbed is it Combo Heroes, which is like a trick-taking game, but it's got some card crafting in it as well, also from John D. Clare. Haven't got around to playing that yet though. James, vote for Hostage Negotiator career. Christos, Van Ryder Games is a kilometre from your house. You could just get straight on these graphic novel adventures that are all running right now. If they were easier to get hold of, I would grab some more in England. They are on Kickstarter right now, but yeah, costs of things. You don't have a lot of analog gamers near you, so you love seeing solo modes and how they play. Oh yeah, especially with all the lockdowns and stuff, and just kind of the live streams as well. The live streams work far, far better, I think, if I'm playing solo, and especially even in a solo game. Everyone can help and give their advice and stuff. So yeah, I've definitely swung back a bit towards solo in the last year or so. You're seeing a lot of reviews for Oath. I think it's another one that, like Root, really. So it's the same publisher as Root, isn't it? I think Leader Games. Yeah, it's one that I've kind of tentatively looked at a bit and thought I would really like to try it. So it's in terms of the game itself, it's like area majority and stuff, isn't it? There's fighting and stuff, I believe, and there's kind of like negotiation and stuff in a way that somebody is the emperor and they can kind of step down as the emperor in order to stop someone from winning the game and stuff. Saying all of this is like really, really cool. I don't know that would be for us, and especially since I've seen community reckon 3 to 5 players. We're 2 a lot of the time, and in a 4-player game, we definitely not want to play anything with the risk of attacking each other in it. But so too with Root. Root's got its Clockwork expansion, right? I would love to play Root at some point. Still haven't gotten around to it. I don't have it, but at some point I would like to give it a go. Yeah, in the same way, I would like to see how it plays solo, because it's like, it's not Legacy, is it? But the game evolves as you play it. So it's fully featured. Yeah, you're playing through generations and stuff. So the consequences of one game will ripple through those that follow, changing what resources and actions future players may have at their disposal, and even altering the game's core victory condition. If the player seizes control by courting anarchy and distrust, future players will have to contend with a land overrun by thieves and petty warlords. In a later game, a warlord might attempt to found a dynasty, creating a line of rulers that might last generations or be crushed by the rise of a terrible arcane cult. Yeah, it sounds really impressive and kind of epic in its scope. I would love to give it a go, but it's one of those that's kind of, it's on a vague list of I don't think that I would enjoy these games, certainly competitively. I've probably really, really enjoyed them solo. But yeah, they're on this list of hope to try one day, but got so many other games to try, and it's a bit pricey to take to just take a chance on out of nowhere. So I haven't played it. I don't have an opinion other than I would really like to give that a go at some point. So I can't be more in depth there. But yeah, there is Oath. Maybe that'll come up one day. We'll see. Maybe Root one day. Because yeah, it's another thing that the game just would not work for us at all. It's a wildly asymmetric. It's not dudes on a map, but you're fighting each other, aren't you? Basically, so would not work for us competitively at all. But solo or with the Clockwork expansion, you can play kind of co-op as well, I think. Yeah, maybe that'll come up one day. I don't know, though. We'll see. Some of these games mentioned today will be coming up in July, I hope. I'm not sure quite which. We'll see what people want to vote for. The vote will be going up. I pretty much as soon as I come off here now, I am going to make the post on Patreon for it. And yeah, you can vote away and let me know what you would like to see. So, I believe that probably not much slower than I would have been if I'd pre-recorded it and taken all of that time. I enjoyed doing it live. I think it went quite smoothly. So I think maybe we'll do it live again next month. But yes, for the rest of the week, I almost got to have a drink and started talking again. Yes, for the rest of the week, I'll be back Thursday night, 8 PM BST, to be playing some solo Nations Dynasties. I used the picture from base game Nations because Dynasties is just the same but squashed more. Friday, I'll be playing solo David Turczi's Tawantinsuyu. And then on Saturday, the pre-recorded Lions of Lydia 2-player playthrough will be going up. You can see that now if you are a patron. If you're not and you'd like to be, oh, it's great. It's patreon.com/slickerdrips. If you'd like to check out what you get, you can join the Discord. You can see videos early. You get to vote on the playthroughs and stuff. And that vote will be going up very, very soon. thank you for watching this. I will see you Thursday, I hope, for the birth of the best nation ever. I don't know what it will be and how we'll particularly do, but it'll be a lot of fun trying, I think. Thank you very, very much for being here now. Marty is not available, I'm afraid, for a Marty Cam sneak peek right now, but hopefully he'll join us for Nations if it's not too hot in here. Thank you very much, and I will see you on Thursday, everyone. See you soon. Bye. 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 Can't find the button.